Today on Kick the Fog, a cheap video projector shootout. Hello and welcome to Kick the Fog, the show that is all things Halloween. My name is Pat Jones. Today we're going to take a look at several projectors that I've seen discussed over and over on the Halloween forums, and we will put them to the test. Hopefully this will help you choose one of these projectors or will help you save your money by avoiding them. Projectors are fast becoming the necessity or certainly the desire for most haunts, both home and otherwise. With companies like Atmos Effects and Hi-Res Designs, DVDs, or digital decorations as some call them, are fast becoming popular ways to decorate your home or haunt. This year I plan to add another projector to my setup so that I can showcase Atmosphere Effects Jack-O-Lantern Jamboree projected onto 3 actual pumpkins. Obviously, like most, I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a projector if I can avoid it. Looking around on Amazon, I can't help but notice the $40 to $60 LED projectors and wondered, could they work? They have wildly ranging reviews from, hey, this is great, 5 stars, to, it's worthless. But I assume these reviewers are projecting movies through these and are expecting some form of HD quality since HD is mentioned as supported in the specs on many of these. So for many negative reviews, I'm thinking sure it might suck for projecting movies, but will it work for projecting simple faces onto pumpkins? Or for a ghost projection onto a wall or window? Well, thanks to Amazon's fantastic few questions asked return policy, I ordered a few without worry. So let's check them out. But first, so you have a point of comparison, here's what my Mica digital media player looks like on my 1080p Samsung LED TV. In a perfect world, our projectors would hopefully at least come close to this quality. So keep this picture in your head and let's look at some cheap projectors. The first projector I ordered, the Home Cinema Theater projector. The reviews weren't the best on this unit, but the specs said it was 640 by 480 resolution and the brightness was 80 lumens. These specs are double the specs of many other similarly priced projectors, including the UC28, which we'll take a look at in a second. So I figured, it's worth a shot. This projector comes with an AC adapter, remote, lens cap, and an input cable for video left and right audio RCA inputs. As sort of a brightness test, you can see here with the lights on in the room that the projector doesn't entirely disappear, but certainly isn't standing out either. With the lights off, you'll notice the poor resolution, jaggy edges, and lack of clarity. None of the images are very crisp. However, for an image like Atmos Effects Ghostly Apparitions, where the edges are wispy and unfocused anyway, and you might not notice or care. Atmos Effects Jack-O-Lantern Jamboree displayed on a wall shows the same fuzzy edges, but I can't help but notice that this projector's brightness seems to be about what I'd expect for the amount of light coming from a real candle-lit jack-o'-lantern. So, looking at the same projector projecting onto actual pumpkins yields a surprisingly decent effect, as long as your environment is dark enough to allow the projection to be seen. Which got me thinking about the streetlight that is 40 or so feet from my front door. I love this streetlight the other 364 days of the year, but on Halloween, I hate it. So I took everything outside, and surprisingly, as I've said before, the amount of light seems consistent with what a real candle-lit jack-o'-lantern might be, making the effect somewhat believable. Well, as believable as a singing pumpkin can possibly be. It's part of the illusion. Proper brightness level is very important in my opinion, as well as hiding the projector itself, which the projector's small size really helps to make that part easy. The second projector I ordered, the UC28 Pro. The reviews were mixed on this one as well, but I had more satisfied reviews at the time when I ordered it, and it was less expensive, so despite the lesser specs, exactly half of the first projector I ordered, I still figured it was worth a spin. Like the first one, this projector comes with an AC adapter, remote, input cable for video left and right audio RCA inputs, but this one has a tethered lens cap, so you can't lose it, which I think is a nice touch. Once again, a lights on brightness test and this projector practically disappears. It isn't even really readable. It is definitely half the brightness of our first model. Also, with the lights off, you can't help but notice the complete lack of clarity. Clear focus wasn't even achievable at all. All the edges are not very clean at all. Showing Atmos Effects Ghostly Apparitions, the edges are even softer and the room needs to be very dark. Atmos Effects Jack-O-Lantern Jamboree displayed from this projector show a definite drop in quality as compared to the 640 by 480 projector. And of course, that should be expected since we are talking about half the resolution at 320 by 240. The lack of clarity and the very dim brightness make this one unusable in my opinion. A third projector I ordered was the one I was most nervous about, and at the same time was the one I was most excited about, the Mitsubishi XD500U. At 2200 lumens and a 2000:1 contrast ratio, this was a real projector, one that would likely perform well. The part that had me nervous was that it was used, no telling how badly, and the return policy was questionable, since the item was not an Amazon or Amazon Prime offered product. I was buying it through Amazon, but it was going through an unknown seller, something that always makes me nervous due to some past experiences. To my surprise, the projector showed up in 3 days, was extremely well packaged in the original box with a carry case as well, and looked to be very well taken care of. With the lights on, the projector was very easily seen. It was quite bright and surprisingly clear. The colors are also very vibrant, which is something we didn't see in either of the first two projectors. With the lights off, you can see that the Mitsubishi comes closer to the Samsung TV we saw earlier. The menus from the Mica Video-Projector were also very clean and crisp. I'm very surprised how good the quality is, seeing as we only spent another $20 or so compared to the first two projectors we looked at. With Atmos Effects Ghostly Apparitions, we really don't realize how bad the first two projectors were until you see it through this one. The quality of the image is dramatically better overall. Projecting the pumpkins on the wall also confirms this, a nice, clean, bright image. Projecting onto the pumpkins, and you can see how bright this is. The hardwood floor's reflection is clearly an indication of how bright this projector is. Taken outside, here's the Mitsubishi projecting onto the pumpkins. The clarity is wonderful, but in my opinion, the projector is just too bright for this particular effect, especially considering the projector is already operating in quiet mode, in which the bulb is dimmer than if it were running in normal mode. It does look amazing, and if you aren't trying to match the brightness level of that of a real candle-lit jack-o'-lantern, then the Mitsubishi is the hands-down winner. In fact, in most cases, it would be the winner. So what did we learn? The UC28 is pretty darn awful. The resolution is pretty bad, and I could never really achieve a sharp picture. It seems the very low brightness and a very low resolution make for a bad combination in this one. Maybe there are good ones and bad ones out there, because I can't help but wonder how there are 5-star reviews for this product. I guess we will never know. Overall though, I'll be sending this one back. The Home Cinema 640x480 theater projector is a tad brighter than the UC28 with much improved clarity as well. I had no problem reading the Mica digital player menus, and overall it simply had a better image. This projector also is not very bright, but in my case I'm looking for a projector that I can use for the singing pumpkins, and this may fit the bill nicely. It seems to be just about the right brightness as compared to an actual candle-lit jack-o'-lantern. It is also very small, which of course makes it easy to stash in my graveyard scene in my home haunt. For these reasons, I'm going to keep this one. Now on to the Mitsubishi XD500U. This is very clear, very bright. The image rivals that of my Samsung LED 1080p TV, and it was cheap. For my singing pumpkins, this projector may be a tad too bright for my taste, and that's where the Home Cinema 640x480 projector will fit in. But for everything else that I use projectors for, the Mitsubishi XD500U is quite nice, especially for the price. The seller I had purchased mine from sold all that he had, but a quick search on eBay and I found the same model with under 1,000 hours for about the same money. A tad deeper search and I found more of the same model with under 200 hours on them for the same money. So in summary, the UC28 is going back for a refund. For my singing pumpkins, I am keeping the Home Cinema 640x480 projector. Its small size and lack of brightness really seems to lend itself well for the singing pumpkins effect. If pumpkins really could sing, this is what I would expect them to look like. However, for all their uses, I can't recommend spending $50 to $65 for a very dim, low-resolution projector when you can spend another $15 to $20 to get a really great performer in the Mitsubishi XD500U. I'll be picking up a few more Mitsubishis for my window projections, for my graveyard hologram-like effect I have planned this year, and for whatever else. That's it for now. I hope you have found this useful. Please feel free to comment below, but let's please keep it positive. Let's help each other, let's learn together, and above all, let's have some fun this Halloween. Until next time, happy Halloween.